Breaking news, breaking news. Major tornado damage, tornado warnings in numerous locations in the Midwest. Come on in, folks. Major outbreak of tornadoes have been going on overnight from Oklahoma through Missouri. This is southern Illinois in a community called Vienna, which is near Kentucky, Paducah, Kentucky. Whoa, folks. There is numerous communities that were hit overnight from storms that are racing across the United States. Look out, Alabama. Look out, Mississippi. Look out, Panhandle of Florida, because these storms are coming. So we're just going to look at the damage here. It's light now. A lot of these storms happened overnight. And then there was some craziness in Oklahoma with some fires. I mean, we got a video we're going to share here soon with the fire damage in Stillwater, Oklahoma area. And then we're also talking about dust storms. This is wild stuff, folks. Tornadoes popping off all over St. Louis County, Missouri, Rolla, Missouri. There's tornado warnings right now in the Arkansas area. It's insane. And you got to take these storms seriously because this is what happens. There's some trailer parks that are literally gone right now. Tornado outbreaks, significant tornadoes went across the area. Now they're reporting 20 fatalities. 20 fatalities. All over the place. 20 fatalities. A lot. Crazy. That literally took out lots and lots of homes here. So we're just going to survey the damage here, what's going on, talk about tornadoes, see the power of Mother Nature. I've been watching these tornadoes come through last night. Twitter showing a lot of these areas, but this is just insane. Look at this. Praying for all the victims, for sure. Praying for all the victims, for sure, with this. So this is Vienna. This is southern, really far southern Illinois. But in the Vienna area, they got hit and rocked pretty strong. This is Johnson County. And you can just see the destruction and the damage. And I'm really concerned today about Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi to Birmingham, Alabama. I think they're going to get walloped today with these storms that are just going to flare up, pop up, and these things move through like a freight train in the area. But come on in. We're just going to see this damage. Look at it together, talk a little bit about tornadoes. Where's everyone from this morning? Share where you're from, please. But we're talking tornadoes in Rolla, Seymour, outside St. Louis. So many of them. Stratford, Missouri. They got a tornado. Fair Grove, Missouri, Galloway, Missouri. So many places in eastern Missouri got rocked with tornadoes overnight. We don't really know the extent of the damage. And we're starting to see the damage now that it was light. But man, that would be horrible to see have a tornado come through your home at night. This thing came through at night like a freight train. They're saying Village Ridge, Missouri. Lots of businesses destroyed along I-44. So yeah, we're surveying the damage here, but this is totally insane. As we get the understanding of the extent of the damage that happened. Barns, sheds, a lot of things blown out. Have you guys seen the fires and the dust storms? Did you guys see the dust storms out there in Amarillo, in the Panhandle? Those dust storms were insane. There was car pileups all over the place, vehicles. There were tractor trailers literally just spinning to its side. In these tornadoes, there was tractor trailers that were, flipped. Pretty crazy stuff, folks. So we're going to see the damage here. And just a reminder, if you're in these warning areas, you got to take these things very, very seriously when it comes to tornadoes and storms. It's a tornado outbreak. They're calling it a tornado outbreak throughout the country, particularly the Midwest, even Kentucky and Tennessee, Western Kentucky, Tennessee. Now, the National Weather Service in Birmingham, let me see if I can get this actual wording that they described. But yeah, Birmingham, Alabama, that area there is on high alert. High alert. Significant risk today for tornadoes in parts of Mississippi and Alabama, particularly along the I-20 corridor. Is a very, very, very high risk. So the National Weather Service in Birmingham, as we're looking at the damage, all these storms headed towards Alabama. They put out a warning, more or less, starting at 11 a.m. this morning. They are expecting serious bad weather conditions in the Alabama area. The National Weather Service Birmingham put out, the entire state is under a threat for significant severe weather today. You must stay aware and take today's threat seriously. Keep in mind that the lull this morning is expected. We are seeing a volatile atmosphere developing after looking at data from our morning weather balloons. This will support a risk for violent, long-tracking tornadoes, large hail, and damaging straight-line winds. Not everyone will see the worst of what today will offer, but we don't know the exact path of the storms until they develop or arrive to our area. What we can see is how favorable the whole region is for intense, severe storms. That's why we need everyone to be on guard. If it misses you, great. If not, you are prepared. Use the quiet period this morning in those areas to ensure you know where you are on the map. You do not want to waste valuable time trying to figure out if you are in or out of a warning. This is an alert that they put out. Ensure you have multiple sources of weather information today. Reliable weather, news apps, weather radar, watching live coverage from broadcast meteorologists or storm chasers. Storm chasers are out there. I think storm chasers are very important in this type of thing here when you see stuff like this, because the storm chasers are showing you in real time what in the world is going on. Radar will show you also a lot what's going on. Where to shelter. Interior room or lower floor or a sturdy building, closet, bathroom, pantry, hallway, office, or something similar. Community storm shelters will also be open today. They're saying protect yourself with a bike helmet. That's what the National Weather Service said in Birmingham. Protect yourself with a bike helmet. So you might have to get like a bike helmet or a big football helmet and put it on. I'm serious. This is a serious matter. These things can pop up and flare up at any time. I'm sure there's going to be a line of storms, and it's coming my way in Florida. Matter of fact, I was considering going up to Mississippi, the Panhandle, to cover this, but this stuff is coming our way too. This stuff is coming our way too in Florida, so we got to be prepared for this craziness. I'll probably be out in the Florida area tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to be as severe as what you see in these particular areas. Wait till you see the fire damage that we're going to show shortly. The fire damage. They're doing aerial shots of here. This is in southern Illinois. Wait till you see this crazy fire damage stuff. Yeah, it's pretty wild, folks. Tornadoes, tornado outbreak, all over the place. As we see this damage, they're saying in Village Ridge, Missouri, a gas station and a Burger King has been destroyed. Village Ridge, Missouri. As we're starting to get an understanding of what in the world happened here, the true extent of this damage. So to continue the conversation, keep your phone charged. Don't forget your pets. Don't forget the pets. And stay informed. That is a dire warning by the National Weather Service in Birmingham, Alabama. Major storms coming through as we see the extent of crazy damage. This is a reminder. You got to take these things very, very seriously. I assume there will be some press conferences about this damage out there and all types of information from local officials to explain what exactly happened. Major tornado outbreak. Numerous fatalities. For sure. So looking at the radar, it's pretty quiet right now. But don't let that quietness fool you. They said they launched weather balloons in Jackson, Mississippi. A lot of meteorologists are saying that this is showing the ingredients for some stuff, really bad stuff, to happen later on today. We're talking about central Mississippi area moving towards Birmingham, Alabama. Another place that got hit pretty hard that I'm seeing on Twitter is Cave City, Arkansas. They got walloped overnight too. They're saying it went right through the middle of the town in Cave City. So our thoughts are with everyone there in Cave City, Arkansas too. It's a massive, massive storm here. This is just showing you the extent. And then we're going to shift over to fire damage in Oklahoma. Yeah, the fire damage was crazy in Oklahoma. And I want to show that shortly. This crazy fire damage. It's insane. Absolutely insane, the amount of damage from fires, the dust storms, dust storm car pileups that happened outside Amarillo. All this weather is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now, this is the fire damage across Oklahoma. This is insane. Reminds me of the Pacific Palisades. We've been covering the Pacific Palisades. Look at this. Absolutely crazy, folks. Everything is charred to a crisp. We're getting the first, the damage assessment in Oklahoma from these wildfires that spread across too. It's total devastation. And there was a lot of tornadoes that just, from Oklahoma, it was mostly these, the wind and the fire. Stillwater. I'm seeing a lot of images coming out of Stillwater, Oklahoma. Stillwater. Man, look at that. That is crazy from fire damage from these wildfires that spread. It was like really dry conditions. You could, I mean, once a fire starts in those dry conditions and those winds, as we learned with the California wildfires, once those winds go up to 30, 40 miles an hour, it's literally impossible to stop the spread. And it's just a ball of fire. And this is case in point, showing you this craziness. Absolutely bonkers and craziness. It's insane, folks. And we still don't know the extent of the damage there, but we're getting an idea here exactly what happened in Oklahoma with these crazy fires. Emergency personnel in St. Louis County also gave a press conference. We'll share that next. But yeah, look. One, they still have a fire alert. Well, there's a lot of fires, but they're calling a particular area in Oklahoma Hickory Hill Road. Hickory Hill Road fires. And they're still saying evacuation orders are still underway in Oklahoma. They're saying that 130 wildfires were reported in 44 counties across Oklahoma. Some major fires were in Manford, Stillwater, Guthrie, Leedy, Norman, Oklahoma City, Little Axe. I mean, the damage is just absolutely insane. And they're showing it. And you could just see the air. It's just smoky and everything like that, that haze. And you can see still flare-ups all over the place in Oklahoma from these crazy fires that happen. I think tomorrow I'm going to go out in Florida, in the central part of the Florida, and see what's going to happen here. I'm very concerned about Tallahassee area, even the Panhandle, all the way going back to Pensacola as far as Florida wise. I mean, that's hope and pray that it doesn't come into fruition. But I'm very concerned. Very concerned. And you can just see, look at the fires all over the place in Oklahoma. It's absolutely nuts. Bonkers. Anyone in the chat from Oklahoma? Anyone in the chat from the Oklahoma area? Yeah, this is absolutely insane, folks. As we see some of this wildfire damage. Stay on the alert. Storms are also moving in right now in Middle Tennessee, they say. Middle Tennessee. So if you're from Tennessee, yeah, see what I'm saying? I'm gonna see if I'm gonna try to get some more footage here. Exactly what's going on. And this is Oklahoma from the fires. Yeah, I mean, the sky looks nice, but man, I'll tell you, there's some crazy damage. Now, we got another tornado or some sort of outbreak that happened in Elliott, Mississippi area. Elliott, Mississippi area too. Major damage from this tornado outbreak. Literally got homes burnt and destroyed. So this was just taken just a little bit ago with this fires in Oklahoma. For people that are coming in the chat, there has been major storms across the country. Major storms across the country. And we're just seeing the damage now, the damage assessment. We're talking about areas of Missouri, here in Oklahoma with the fires. We shifted to the fires. We started out with the tornado damage in southern Illinois. There's just so many reports of just communities between Oklahoma and all the way to the Midwest right now. And now it's starting to pop up in Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi later on today, Florida, possibly Georgia too. But man, there was tons of just reports of tornadoes touching down in numerous locations and massive damage in different communities. All over the place. So we're going to kind of just share the damage and actually look at that. Yeah. Oklahoma. That was in Oklahoma. All right, so we're gonna show you other information that is out there, particularly tornadoes in Elliott, Mississippi. Tornadoes in Elliott, Mississippi. So we're going to share this report here, keep people informed of what's going on. Yeah, it's pretty wild and crazy.
This morning, a tornado actually hit Elliott, Mississippi, leaving major damage behind. Officials are out surveying the damage and ongoing rescue efforts as more storms are on the way. Fox weather correspondent Robert Ray is on the ground with more on the latest conditions. And Robert, it is maybe 2% encouraging to see that there is plenty of cloud coverage overhead. It would be even worse somehow if we were seeing bright blue skies out there and there was a ton of sunshine. Having said that, we still anticipate big time severe weather to roll through the area that you're standing in right there right now.
Yeah, Nick, exactly. And we just arrived here from Memphis, drove about 100 miles to the southbound I-55 through tornado watches and warnings, nasty stuff. And we're here in Elliott, a small town in between Jackson, Mississippi and Memphis, Tennessee. And this town got hit by a tornado last night about 1 a.m. And let's get a survivor's account. Robert Holman.
Right.
I'm glad you're standing here, my friend. And this is your home.
Right.
Massive tree, several trees fell on it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, sir, tell me what happened last night at 1 a.m.
Well, we just were here and we heard the siren going off there about 4 or 5 times, and then we felt the wind coming through, and then all of a sudden it got like a freight train. And then all of a sudden we just hear stuff just falling all on the house. It got stronger and stronger and stronger. I say it lasted about 10 minutes.
10 minutes until the sirens, until it was all over.
Now when that thing came through, the siren let us know that something was coming. And then once that siren cut off, we heard that wind coming. And it got hot up in the house, just the hot, that wind just...
It was a warm wind.
Yeah, it's warm. It just, the house got real hot. And then it all of a sudden, it just boom, 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 and just tore everything up.
Hey, where were you in the house when...
We got up. I told my son to get up and come to the... I said, don't go to the back because that tree done fell on it. And so we come right there, got in that side right there, and then all of a sudden we heard the top. Boom!
Oh, my God.
And then I said, I can't go out there and move them cars, think out all this stuff, and the breeze is blowing and everything. I just let it went, I couldn't do nothing.
Robert, just so we can give our viewers some perspective of where we're standing right now, Mike Hall, if you could just survey, strain your lens on some of the debris piles. Look at the trees that are stacked up. Yeah. Mind you, everyone watching this, this happened at 1 a.m. And so what are we looking at? Roughly, 6-7 hours ago at this point. Vehicles.
Bed over there, Uncle, that rubber's over there. My red Ford truck is buried under them trees.
That is buried under the trees.
Yeah, and then this car here is fell across both of my cars, and
at this point,
pretty good. I just stopped shaking this morning to around about 5 when it's on. It was around like 7. I started crying.
Come on in for a second. Hey, Robert Ray, thank you. Mandela Holman, you're Robert's son. Mm-hmm. You said you broke down a little bit here. You started crying.
I did. My son sat there by me when I just couldn't believe when I walked out there seeing all this. It was a nightmare.
Tell me from your perspective, and thank God you're okay.
I got so scared I didn't know what to do. I just dropped to my knees. I got so scared.
But I hold them together, though.
Let me ask you both. We knew that these systems were going to come through, but did you expect anything this violent?
I didn't know. I wasn't expecting it to be like this, but I just thought it was going to be a hard rain or wind blowing. But stop. But that tornado got rough there.
How about you?
It was a nightmare.
Let me ask you guys. You were together, father son, during maybe one of the worst events of your life, right?
That's right.
When you look at each other now and the fact that you're alive, what do you think?
I'm glad he here with me. Because he could have got blown away. We could have got hurt up in there like that lady did cross over there.
Yeah.
We had to dig her out of the rivers there last night around about 1 o'clock.
Tell me what you're talking about, if you can. And Mike Hall, photographer, going to follow us here. You see a lot of community members are out. Come on out here, Robert, if you can, and give us a view of what you're talking about. Everybody, we just got here, so this is all very, very fluid here at this point. Robert, tell me what you were saying.
All right, this trailer right there. The lady that she stayed there, she had a hip surgery and had broke her hip, and they had a hip surgery on her. So all of that blowed, that wind blowed all the way out yonder until we found her. They found her. They kept calling and calling. There was 2 of them in the house. So we dug and we dug up under there, and there she was up under all that stuff.
When you found her, what was her condition?
that the police and ambulance, they got out there and found her.
Do you know her condition at this point?
They said they're going to send her to Jackson.
To the hospital.
To the hospital.
But she's alive.
She's alive, but it was 2 of them in there. I think she in Grenada, but they had to send my neighbors there. They had to send her to Jackson.
Okay. Grenada, by the way, a town just to the west of here?
Yeah, right up there.
Yeah. What's next here? I know you're still in shock. You're processing this.
And then they flipped that car. That car yonder went across the road. That yonder turned bottom side up.
I see that. Mike, if you could train your lens into that. That car is upside down. That mobile, the roof is gone. It's on its side, ripped up.
They had him sitting on back of the ambulance truck there last night. He talked to me and everything. He was cut real bad on his hand and everything. But he doing good. I ain't heard nothing from him though. Not yet.
Okay. But he's okay, or at least he's alive. Yeah. We know.
We made it.
Yeah.
We made it out.
I can't even, I can't even imagine what you're going through at this point.
I ain't never been through nothing like this.
No.
It just hurt me, man.
Robert, where will you stay this evening? And where were you and your son?
I don't know where we were gonna stay at, but I reckon.
Do you have anywhere to go besides what is left?
Yeah, we can go somewhere.
Okay. So there's no running water in Elliott right now? Oh, it is. It is. Okay. Because I stopped up there. There was no water, but power lines are down. Mm-hmm. This community, what is it like? You guys, I don't know a whole lot about it.
Everybody around here, they good. They neighbors. Everybody around here try to take care of each other. So she always was feeding my dog. There he is in the truck right there.
Yeah, I see the dog. Dog's okay. Okay.
Yeah, I had to find him up under that ruckus back down. I had to get him out.
There's more storms on the way, and they will happen this morning. As a matter of fact, we're going to get a lot of rain and wind, and this is going to continue throughout the day. An unprecedented outbreak. So please, if you can, be careful the rest of the day, because you never know.
We never know.
We could have another situation here. But Robert, thank you. I'm glad you and your son are okay.
All right, then. Thank you.
God bless you, man.
All right, then.
Thank you for being on Fox Weather.
All right, then.
I appreciate it.
All right.
So Nick and everyone watching, I mean, look, you just, as we make our way around these trees, and you see in the distance more residents just gazing upon what is left of their town of Elliott, very small town here in Mississippi, not too far from the Mississippi Delta. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, Robert, that devastation there, unbelievable. And you said it, there is more rain on the way. Michael was just looking at radar. It's what, 40, 50 miles away?
It's to the west.
Downpours are on the way in. So hopefully everybody can take shelter. Doesn't look like it's going to be a huge, serious type of outbreak, but you never know in this atmosphere. I mean, the rain's coming, and it's a supercharged type of event, and we'll see how it all plays out.
We put Corey Miller, our great sportscaster in the Channel 5 Sports Department, to work tonight for our weather impact alert coverage. And he is live tonight in Arnold, where there has been a lot of damage. Right, Corey?
Mike, if I'm out covering this damage, you know it is bad, and it is definitely bad here in Arnold. We're coming down I-55. You usually see Fox High School lit up on the left. It wasn't. Nothing was lit up. All the power was out. Signs were completely flattened. A Drury Inn sign right off I-55 there in Arnold, hanging as you walk past. Pretty much all the signs are like that, including this one on Old Lee May Ferry Road. I'm going to step out. Jimmy's going to get a picture of this tractor sign that is just completely wrenched sideways, showing the power of the wind. Now, we are here on Old Lee May Ferry Road, like I said, and we can't go any farther because, as you can see, maybe in the distance, it's pretty far down there, there's a downed power line across the road. We've already seen 2 fire trucks come zooming this way to presumably go, help people and take care of business, and they can't go any further because this is stretched all the way across Old Lee May Ferry Road here. Cars just have to keep turning around because it is definitely not safe to go any further than that. The damage here is just everywhere. We've seen everything from signs blown down, trees everywhere, decks off the houses over here, and we even saw a guardrail on the side of the road kind of all twisted up in a way a guardrail should definitely not be looking, and definitely not how I've ever seen one. So down here in Arnold, definitely a ton of storm damage. We gotten a lot of reports of roofs off houses. We stopped and talked to a police officer. Couple different neighborhoods definitely dealing with some water coming in, probably from their roofs being blown off. It was raining incredibly hard here until about, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, probably, Jimmy. It's just, there's a lot of damage here. Folks are going to be cleaning this up for a long time, but definitely stay safe. If this power line is down here across Old Lee May Ferry Road, I can tell you it's definitely not the only one. It's probably like this all over the place down here in Arnold.
Oh, certainly. Oh, so you did a great job setting the scene in the Arnold area. What about getting there? What did you see along the way?
It was raining very hard while we were coming down here, so I couldn't, tell a whole lot out the window. But the biggest thing was the signs, the big green signs on the side of the highway. A lot of those totally bent the other direction once we got closer to Arnold. And we've got an emergency vehicle coming up right alongside us where this power line is going to be down here. But getting here, it was a little bit treacherous because of the rain, but the wind seemed to have stopped by then, at least, thankfully.
All right, Corey, be careful.
All right, let's go now to Brent Solomon, who is live in Bridgeton for us tonight. And Brent, what are you seeing out there?
Neighbors helping neighbors, and I tell you what, folks in this community really need it right now. It's a very similar story that we're seeing in many neighborhoods right now. Downed power lines, damage on homes, and tree limbs on the street. Take a look at the Pattonville Fire Department assisting in this one. We're on Benedetta and Scotch, where just moments ago I actually saw firefighters with chainsaws in hand helping to break down some of these trees. And up above I see some electric lines that are tumbling down right now. But what I really want you to get a good look at, if we can, is this tree right here. This is on Scotch. The tree from a neighbor's home came crashing into the master bedroom of this home right here. I just spoke with a young man who tells me his grandmother lives here. Fortunately, she wasn't home at the time. She's staying in a nursing home, he tells me. But he was home along with a friend when that tree came crashing down into the home. Fortunately, they were able to think quick, get the roof tarped up, and now they're beginning that road to recovery. Let me let you hear from him and how he's so thankful for his community right now.
There's people walking around, seeing if people need tarping. It really warms my heart to see the amount of people walking around, seeing if other people need help. It really makes me feel good.
There you go, back live now. I'm looking at James, photographer James Merriman actually right here. I don't know if you can see, and the light may not catch them, but there are people on top of the roof right next door to the home we were talking about. So undoubtedly, they're probably noticing some damage to their home, and they're working to get that fixed as well. What I can tell you is that since we've been here, we've spoken with people who were just coming home. One couple telling me, I said, is everything okay? They said, we don't know yet. We're walking up to find out. So hoping that they're okay. But what we really see, as I said at the top of this report, is neighbors, people helping each other, because it's going to take a while for some folks here to get through this. Of course, we're continuing to monitor the damage. We'll update you as we go. Live in Bridgeton, Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
And that's the best of St. Louis. St. Louis always comes through for their friend, for their neighbor. Brent, I know before you got to Bridgeton, you were in East St. Louis tonight. There was a building collapse. There were fires. Kind of take us through what you saw over there.
Absolutely. I can tell you, Mike, that it was just an incredible scene, and not in a positive way. It was moments before we arrived to a building that had just collapsed. We were the first news crew on the scene there. For those who are familiar with the East St. Louis area, this is Missouri Avenue, right by the Local Legends listening room, across the street from the Culture Club. A vacant building, according to the police chief, that due to the heavy winds just came crashing down. Bricks literally from the building are now littering the roadway there. We captured some images, so we're going to get that to you at some point and put it on KSDK.com for you. But as we were leaving that scene to head here, we saw the heavy equipment out, and again, neighbors helping neighbors pretty quickly, responding to clean up that area. And lastly, I'll tell you this, hours before that, and that was the result of heavy winds. Hours before that, heavy winds are to blame for several house fires in East St. Louis. It was Tudor and 18th and Tudor. Fire started at one home. Investigators don't know yet how it started, but literally within minutes, they say winds from that fire picked up the flames and carried it onto several other homes. Right now, a total of 6 homes in that area are either destroyed or damaged. I spoke with one man who says fortunately he has friends and family in the area. He was at work, got the call to come home, check out his home, only to find that he doesn't have a place to stay tonight. So we're really seeing the impact of this storm here tonight. Mike and Kelly.
Yeah, it's just heartbreaking seeing so many people's homes damaged.
This is St.
some
Louis
destroyed,
County area.
but it's also good to know that they're helping each other, the neighbors are helping.
And you
each
talk
other.
about heartbreaking. In Rolla, there was a lot of damage, and
Rolla.
the owner of a nail salon, her business was destroyed, and she was on Facebook saying, "Dear Rolla friends and our greatest clients, after all these years, it's been my pride and joy, but I mourn for the loss of my business, and we'll hopefully rebuild." But it's been a heartbreaking night for a lot of people.
Yes, unfortunately, we're going to be hearing more of those types of stories, but
Authorities give a
it's
press
just good to see
conference
that,
in that area.
out of all of this, we have not heard of any injuries so far.
That's so far, and we hope it stays that way.
Yes.
We do want to go to Annie Krall, who is live in Graves Summit. We do know that Scott and Gary earlier tonight were talking about a tornado on the ground in Graves Summit. So, Annie, what can you tell us?
Mike and Kelly, you caught up with me a little bit earlier, and I was in Villa Ridge, so we were trying to get around, see what was happening. And Graves Summit, of course, is very close to Villa Ridge, and in Graves Summit, it is the same story. We have some down power lines, some tree damage, and I want to show you behind me. We have one of those trees. It's pretty gnarly. It's hard to see. It's on top of the power lines. Thankfully, it doesn't seem like any damage has been caused on the road. It doesn't seem like an electricity problem, but it is graphic and hard to see as we're on Highway MM. People are driving up, trying to see. We were able to speak with a tree service cutting person just a little bit earlier, and he said that he's been told by first responders that they're getting diverted from Route 100 that we were at a little bit earlier, and it was so jam-packed. And now we have this situation that people are getting diverted, and we have trees down here as well. So that's making things very challenging. So it's these down power lines that are hard to see. I also want to show you some of the branches that are right here over on Highway MM. We're walking here. It's very muddy. Again, that comes with all of the rain that we've been seeing this entire night. But these are just some of the branches that we've been driving past. They're not causing a ton of problems right now. Of course, they're not in someone's house, they're not on someone's property, they're just off the side of the road. But that's because there's so much worse damage. The trees that we've been seeing, this down power line, we were able to speak with someone else who basically said there's probably 20 trees down Highway MM. We had to pull over just to try and find a spot to set up and get set because the traffic has been so bad and so backed up. And people are trying to understand where they should park, where they should go. This Graves Summit area, this Villa Ridge area is just so hard right now in Franklin County because there's nowhere to get around. And of course, it's late at night. People have been driving around for hours. Trips are taking so much longer, and especially for truck drivers we've been seeing and turning around. This is just not a good situation right now in Franklin County, making things so much more challenging. Again, between the down trees, the power lines, and then all of the spaces that we've also been driving and trying to figure out where to route ourselves correctly. And so that's just been one of the challenges. Of course, we'll keep you updated, whether that's between Graves Summit, Villa Ridge, and of course heading into tomorrow about what else the damage is because we're close to Purina Farms. So we've been hearing that there's more damage, of course, by a Burger King, by Mr. Fuel. So there's more to be found out and investigated, but we will stay on the roads as long as we have to. For now, though, reporting live in Franklin County.
Your response, and everybody's going to be out doing that. It's important if you see down power lines, stay away from them. Call Ameren, report them. You really don't want to be around any downed power lines. I did speak to Governor Kehoe last night, and I want to thank the governor for his quick action yesterday afternoon, and then making resources available through the Missouri Highway Patrol and MoDOT. They were working very closely with our emergency personnel last night. And next I want to hear from Michelle Ryan, and she'll give you a little bit more detailed report about what happened and what's going to happen today. Michelle.
Good morning. Forgive me if I stumble a little bit. We're a little short on sleep here. The EOC, St. Louis County EOC, activated yesterday at 6 p.m. This allows us, when we bring in staff and outside partners, to track the storms in real time, and then we can coordinate our response with area first responders. First responders, including law enforcement, fire, utility crews, they worked literally through the night. They were still working when I got here at 7 o'clock this morning to clear debris and ensure public safety. Our current priorities as we move from response to recovery are utility restoration. Ameren crews have been working like crazy to restore power and get active power lines off of the roadways. Residents, as Dr. Page said, are urged to stay clear of any power lines, report them immediately to Ameren. Debris removal and roadway access. We know there are closed roads, primarily because of debris in the roadway. County Public Works, Transportation, and our municipal street departments are working very hard to reopen those roadways as quickly as possible. Home and property damage assessments. The sun is up. We can now see far better than we could, overnight last night. We have some idea where the majority of the damage is, but we need to know if folks have damage. We have requested damage assessment teams from the state of Missouri. I believe we will be getting them early in the week, but I need to know where to send them. So as you get up, as you walk outside, as you start looking at your home, if you find damage, shingles, from minor to major, call 211, report that damage. They send me reports. Those are the reports that I give to the damage assessment teams. In addition to that, United Way can help with other resources. Recovery takes time. We're committed to seeing that through and being with our residents and our businesses as they rebuild. We appreciate the patience and resilience of our residents. And just remember, if you have damage, call 211. If you see unsafe conditions, please call your local police department.
Phil, can you give us a report from the fire service?
Sure. Yesterday afternoon, when the winds came in, calls for service started coming out, reported wires down, wires turned into grass fires turned into larger grass fires. Some of those larger grass fires got into structure fires and so on and so forth, cascading into the events where local fire resources were overwhelmed. We deployed incident support teams to those throughout the county to give them backfill to monitor and manage resources, calling outside resources to come in and backfill what was needed. At the height of it, I was up north as the ops section chief, and my job was to find out how much resources were up there, what was depleted, and what was needed. We were able to bring the fires under control enough and enough time to get them back in quarters right before the storms hit and give the guys enough rest and some food and water to get them when the storms passed through. Then we deployed them out for the damage assessment, reports of building collapses, some roof damages, things like that, assessing what was really going on out there. I left about 1 o'clock last night when everything was kind of winding down and things were just getting under control a little bit. And we knew this morning was going to be more of an impact for us as going out and helping our citizens get back, kind of restore their daily lives. That's all we have.
Thank you, Chief. We definitely want to recognize the work of the fire service last night. That was very dangerous conditions with low humidity and high winds and multiple fires. And some local resources were overwhelmed, and neighboring communities and fire service agencies provided mutual aid to work very seamlessly together. They have a very tight-knit response, and it was good to see that yesterday. Last night, our county transportation and public works crews were out clearing debris from roadways and to help make room for emergency vehicles and work through the night. In addition to public works departments from our municipalities who were impacted last night, we had our county public works crews dispatched, and MoDOT was working on their own jurisdictions, but also made some of their resources available. We're grateful for that. I'm going to ask Matt to come up here and give us a summary of what the County Transportation and Public Works has done and what we can expect moving forward. Matt?
Yes, as previously indicated, the sun's coming up and we're going to learn a lot more about what happened as the day goes on here. Last night we had crews deployed immediately following the storms to deal with downed trees, setting temporary signs for dark signals and things like that. As Dr. Page indicated, we were providing assistance also to municipalities that were hit hard, Metro West Fire District, and others as well. As the day goes on today, we'll know more about what additional impacts we have. We know we have some road closed still, as well as dark signals. We believe those are largely related to Ameren outages and things like that. So our crews will be following up with the cleanup as Ameren makes things safe in those areas. We also have teams of code enforcement inspectors to start assessing property damage and things like that as the day goes on, and we know more about the extent. And the last reminder I have is if anybody drives up on dark signals, please treat them as a four-way stop sign. So.
Thank you, Matt. We're going to be busy today. Last night was about emergency response, protecting life and health, getting people safe, and getting the roads open so emergency vehicles can move through. We're going to spend the rest of the day and tomorrow with damage assessments. We need people to report to your local municipalities and through emergency services where the damage is. We'll have our own people out. The National Weather Service will bringing in their teams. County code enforcement folks will be out in teams of 2 evaluating damage, and then we'll be in touch with the state and federal agencies to coordinate emergency relief and recovery. And that'll take weeks and months to get people back to their normal lives. But I do want to recognize that the past 2 days, everyone in St. Louis County did a great job of communicating. We knew we were going to get a bad storm like we hadn't seen in a long time. We didn't know how bad, but we were ready. People listened to the emergency warnings. They took shelter, and we have dozens and dozens of damaged homes, and people were in the right place in their homes, and that's why we were lucky last night. And so far, no reported loss of life, minor injuries from flying debris. But let's keep working together today. Check on your neighbors. If you see a limb in the street, drag it out of the way to the curb, and everybody do their part to help us clear this out and report the damage through the normal channels, so we can collate it and be systematic about our response today. Thanks for listening to our emergency operations leaders. Last night could have been a lot worse, and we're going to spend the next few days and few weeks cleaning it up and moving forward. I'd be glad to take any questions.
Where was the hardest hit area?
Oh, Florissant, Bridgeton, Blackjack. I believe that Hazelwood was also hit, but you know what? I'm gonna ask Michelle. She has more details there.
Yeah, so we have some reports of sort of scattered damage in South and Central St. Louis County. The bulk of the damage seems to be in the Blackjack, Bridgeton, Florissant area, Hazelwood. We know there was probably a tornado that touched down in Chesterfield as well, so we'll be looking there as well.
Do you have even a estimate of how much property damage, or is that too hard to tell at this point? That's what today's all about.
That's what today and tomorrow are all about. First responders did the best they could in the dark last night. We know of areas where there's just really widespread damage. Bridgeton, I know, did go door to door last night. Primarily, they were looking for people who just needed help out, resources. But they were able to catalog some damage as they did that. It's fairly widespread up there.
When you say damaged homes, are you talking about total? What is the scale of the damage?
There's more substantial damage from this than I've seen in my career. At least that's the unofficial assessment from first responders.
We saw this morning, we were actually in the Florissant area, a lot of damage down there. We saw a down power line, many people still trying to drive through that road and even drive around it. We saw a car stuck. I know y'all said it, but can you just, what do you want to say to residents this morning that see that and try to go around it? We saw probably like a dozen cars trying to
Don't go around it. It's not worth the 5 minutes you're going to save. It's just not, right? We've seen this in flash flooding. Take the extra minutes and go around it. Go a different route. Don't try to skirt right around that wire.
Will you guys be offering any special services in terms of cleanup, like drop-off sites or anything like that?
So that is not uncommon. Drop-off sites are very common after something like this. We are not there yet. It is always on our radar as soon as something like this happens, though. I would expect we will be offering some resource centers. Frequently, the drop-offs are coordinated by the municipalities, but we are always here to support that should they need it.
Do y'all have, in terms of transportation, extra crews working? Are they kind of working overtime like we see a lot in these storms?
Yes, we do. We've essentially called in what we would call in for a snow shift. So.
Anything else?
Okay, I just want to say how proud we are of everybody working together last night. Everybody trains for this. Fire service trains or law enforcement trains to work together in an emergency. And they executed their training last night, and they did it well. Fire services coming to aid of each other, law enforcement coming to aid of each other, and our residents played their important role in taking shelter and minimizing the impact of this storm, which is worse than we've seen in a really, really long time. We'll spend the next days and weeks digging out, and please stay tuned. We'll keep you posted as we get more information. Thank you.
We're going to go to Florissant.
And with Brent Solomon, he is with Florissant's police chief and fire chief. Brent.
Yes, the police chief and the mayor, actually, Kelly. But let me tell you where we are behind me, Hendel's Restaurant. If you're familiar with this area, you've likely been or heard of this gym in our community, really. I'm told that a tree and several other branches actually fell on top, and some made their way inside through that restaurant. The mayor joining me right now. You're actually, Mayor Lowry, kind of touring the area a little bit, but you saw just how bad it was in there. Of course, it's been cleaned up a little bit now, but describe what you saw.
Yeah, they've sustained a lot of damage to the bar area. Obviously, a tree limb went directly through the roof and caused a lot of damage to the restaurant here, which is obviously a landmark here in the city of Florissant and certainly a historic building. And so, we've got a lot of damage up here in the city of Florissant, and this is a very significant place that got hit. Plus, we got a lot of our houses and our subdivisions have been hit also. So tonight's been, I'll say, a very horrible night here in the city of Florissant.
What is your message to neighbors here right now, many of whom are tuning in now live, and some of them, however, may not have power at home. They might be watching through our app, and it might be, a long road to recovery for some folks.
Could be definitely a long road to recovery, and certainly, we've got our people out working, our police department, our public works department, parks department. We got a lot of people out, a lot of resources out trying to help people this evening. I've been in contact. In fact, I've had several conversations with our county executive, Sam Page, and he's trying to get this declared a disaster area to try to get some relief up here for our residents, and not just here in Florissant, but certainly other areas like Bridgeton and some other areas that have been hit by this horrible storm tonight.
Just the fact that you're here right now, what time is it? Midnight, past midnight, shows your dedication. So thank you for what you're doing, Mayor.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys being here also and caring about our community.
Before we go, we have Police Chief Fagan joining us now, and I know you also have been kind of surveying a lot of the damage. What are you seeing right now?
Yeah, there's a pretty significant amount of damage throughout the city. We have some homes that have large trees directly into the homes. We have homes with the front of the houses that are torn off, so we're seeing a significant amount of damage to structure and property, as well as just a lot of trees down on the roadway causing a lot of obstruction.
We're most thankful for all of our first responders. In fact, every opportunity I get, I remind people to thank them when you see them. But just describe what some of your officers are doing now, undoubtedly probably working with EMS, working with firefighters. It's all hands on deck right now.
Yeah, it certainly is all hands on deck. We've brought a lot of personnel in from home to assist with those that were on duty. You know, the initial phase of this was going house to house to make sure that people were safe, making sure we didn't have anyone trapped, making sure we didn't have anyone injured. Then the secondary thing is to, again, continue to assess and look at the damage, work with our emergency management resources locally here in the city of Florissant as well as with St. Louis County, really trying to just assess the overall problem and then kind of come up with a game plan about how we proceed from here.
Before I let you go, during that search phase, did you find any people that needed to be, rescued or needed help either out of their homes or vehicles or anything?
We did assist a couple of people in their residences. We're very fortunate that thus far we have not had any significant personal injury. So although we've lost a lot of property and certainly it's going to upend a lot of people's lives, very fortunately we haven't had a lot of significant injuries. So that's a blessing in a very terrible situation.
Chief, our thanks to you and thanks for what you're doing here tonight. Your dedication, again, on display for your community.
Thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. And so there you have it, both the mayor and police chief really showing how much they're invested in their community, taking a look at the damage and telling neighbors that we're here for you. You heard the mayor saying, I'm in touch with the county executive. How can we get help for people who are dealing with all of the damage that really came quickly here tonight? But for now, that is the very latest. From Florissant, Brent Solomon.
Storms that threaten tens of millions of Americans this weekend, already wreaking havoc in parts of the Midwest. Missouri saw the worst of it overnight. At least 5 people were killed. The National Weather Service says at least 5 tornadoes touched down, including one in St. Louis. This morning, tens of thousands of people in Missouri are without power, and St. Louis County is in a state of emergency. And the threat is not over yet. More severe weather is in the forecast today across the Mississippi Valley and Deep South. Jason Allen is in St. Louis. Jason, tell us more.
Michelle, good morning. It's a much cooler morning here in St. Louis this morning, a little bit breezy. You mentioned the power outages. You can see, though, behind me, the power is on here in downtown area, and at least where we are, no extensive damage. But this was a violent storm system as it rolled through, and as you mentioned, in some communities around the city, it proved to be deadly.
Sheets of rain and torrents of hail, piling up in some areas nearly a foot. The city of St. Louis feeling the full force of a massive storm system stretching from Canada to Texas. Hours earlier, the punishing winds toppled trucks and gutted buildings in Franklin County, about 50 miles west of St. Louis.
Currently, there's a couple of different building collapses in the area. We're going through assessing the buildings, making sure that they're all clear, that all the occupants are out of the building. We've had a couple of injuries that have been transported.
We are in downtown St. Louis as the storm is in extremely intense rain. You cannot see the RV. There is hail falling, and the tornado sirens are now sounding again across the city.
The severe weather was so dangerous, it forced the staff at our St. Louis affiliate, KMOV, to take shelter while still broadcasting.
Wow, big hook echo on this.
Let me tell you what he said a few minutes ago. This happened when we were evacuating to the first level, okay?
And I'm going to highlight on radar exactly where it is.
In this area.
The storm system caused mayhem throughout the country's midsection Friday. 3 people were killed in car crashes caused by a dust storm in the Texas Panhandle. And the high winds fanned nearly 150 fires across Oklahoma. One homeowner in Oklahoma City lost the house where she had raised 2 children and 4 foster children.
Every Friday night, we sat down and had movie night on the couch. Kids reading to me every night for 30 minutes on the couch. We had lots of great memories. Yeah.
While the recovery has begun for some, millions of other Americans are preparing as the storm system tracks east. Emergency officials are urging people to take the threat seriously and seek shelter.
Last time around, we had 2 elderly people that was in a mobile home, and the mobile home was actually turned upside down, and so they were trapped in the home. RVs, mobile homes, please get out of those and seek shelter.
You know, you hear the description of that damage, even as we were trying to make our way to some of these impacted communities in the overnight hours. It was still difficult to get there. You have that debris, you have overturned trucks, there are trees down, power lines down. Sheriff deputies telling us they're still trying to open some of those roads. Dana, I don't think we'll know the full extent of the damage until we get some daylight a little bit later on this morning.
Yeah, and obviously, as just said, that is a lesson to everyone going forward this storm may reach, to take it seriously. Jason, thank you.
All right, folks. So I kept you up to speed about what happened in Missouri, Illinois, the fires in Oklahoma. We talked about the dust storm in the Texas Panhandle. All these storms are making their way towards Mississippi and Alabama. Probably too some storms in Kentucky and Tennessee, and then eventually going across, maybe in Florida where I live. I'm probably going to be out there tomorrow driving around, seeing what's going on to keep you informed. But when new press conferences come out, if any of the governors speak, press conferences, or any other journalists that are doing like boots on the ground assessments and damage assessments or footage from the air, we'll come back live and do another live and we'll go through that. But I pretty much kept everyone else up to speed of what's going on. There's storm chasers out there. They have their stuff. Go check them out. They're running around. There's a bunch of them in different communities, but stay safe out there. I just wanted to keep you informed of what happened. Particularly this segment was dealing with probably the St. Louis County area, and then Southern Illinois. But this thing is massive and widespread, and we are definitely paying attention on JLR Investigates. If you get that alert on your phone, take it very, very seriously, because these storms are no joke. All right, folks, we cover true crime, breaking news, 24/7, 365. I'm sure we'll be back later on with more on these storms, and I'll definitely be out there tomorrow driving around, seeing what's up. So stay tuned for that. All right, we'll talk soon. JLR Investigates. Stay safe out there.